Someone shot my dog and stole my Mustang, so why not try John Wick the game? I mean, Suits for Hire. This isn't a review of Suits for Hire. The Why Not Try series is meant to be a collection of games I've purchased for a pretty cheap price, and had more fun than I was anticipating. So over time, this will be a list of titles that people might come back to when they're looking for something new to play that won't cost the earth. Suits for Hire was released by Godmode Interactive on the 21st of June, and it's a single-player top-down action shooter that incorporates ranged firearms, martial arts, and bullet-time slow cam for maximum style. You play as a mildly customizable assassin in a suit, and your mission is to mow down all the underlings on your way to kill the top guy. Apart from that, as it currently stands, there's no real story, no cutscenes, and no idea who our assassin is and the reasons that the top guy needs to be put down. Now, this game is a very violent, very fun top-down shooter. Until you find this little button in the settings. Press this and prepare for a whole new angle of awesome. Top down, this game is engaging, but in third person, it's the closest you'll get to a modern Max Payne sequel. If you can get a good rhythm going, the combat in this game just sings. Apart from the training mission where you learn all the buttons, there are 7 different campaigns with bosses at the end to battle. I spent about 2 hours on the first campaign, but with some actual skill you could probably halve that time easily. So at a guess, maybe expect somewhere between 7 and 10 hours of gameplay, not including repeating sequences for style's sake. Speaking of style, I started off by making my assassin look like Mr. Bean.
Hello.
But thankfully there's a decent amount of drip to unlock as you progress to fix that, and there seems to be a few main weapons to try out too. Look at the potential size of some of these guns. There's also a difficulty setting, and I found the normal setting reasonably challenging, requiring a few restart of checkpoints. You'll probably notice my accuracy is not the best. It seems that the game gives a fair amount of aim assist in order to flatter the player and increase the cool factor. So long as the reticle is on some part of the enemy body, you'll end up with a kill. You'd think it would make the game easy, but because everyone can be killed with a single gunshot, yourself included, it makes every encounter a dance of porcelain cannons. There's separate buttons for punch and kick. Punches are faster and useful when enemies aren't blocking, and kicks are useful to break their defenses when they are blocking. There's a dodge button, and if you hold it, you go into a very dramatic dive. There's also a button to counter an incoming melee attack, and there's a slow time button which gives you a little breathing room in those situations when you're outnumbered. All up, there's actually a lot of options you're given to control the combat encounters. Your gun only has 2 clips, so you'll run out of ammunition pretty quickly if you're just running and gunning it. So the game gives you an incentive of a new magazine every time you get in for a close-up finisher. It's a system that at first glance looks a little too simplistic, but I can see it becoming a source of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. It's probably quicker to shoot everyone in the head and only do a finisher when you need more ammunition, but it feels so badass to kick down doors, use various discarded weapons, and bust in heads with melee work up against a wall that... Hang on, what's with Captain Baseball here, standing like he's in a line at Dunkin' Donuts? You're bleeding from a penetrating chest injury, dude. Is this a protest against violence in the workplace? At least pretend you're concerned about the gaping hole in your thorax. So the AI has the same intelligence level as a bag of furry avocados. It might break the realism a little, but try not to think about it for too long. Anyway, as I was saying, I was enjoying mixing in the different moves to get the best stylistic kills I could. That's what I see this game offering for the long term. Something else I appreciated was the varying environments. It's actually really impressive the range of places you get to kill people in, even in the first 7 missions. Forests, bunkers, kitchens, fancy apartments with pianos. The variety's insane. So let's go over why you wouldn't play this game. Well, cutting to the chase, there are quite a few bugs, and I came across some crashes as well, so it's not the most stable thing going. Particularly in the third person mode, I found some of the sync kills a little jarring with sudden teleporting models that made it look a little unslick. Like I said before, it's a bit lacking in story, so probably look elsewhere if that's what you're after. But frankly, this game is all about the action, and it does do that really nicely. It could maybe do with a few more execution animations, as you'll get sick of seeing the same ones pop up frequently, but it's still the best John Wick game I've seen available. Retails at $21 Australian, or just under $15 US. So if you're in the market for a solo John Wick simulation shooter, why not try Suits for Hire?